Here we are.
Back?
Who's back? Tell me who's back.
I'm back, bitch. Norm's back. After a bit of a hiatus.
6th episode.
Yeah.
Hiatus.
Yeah, I don't know how many weeks that was, but it was a lot. It was a lot.
Without trying, though.
Right. It was just speed bumps and assignments and weather and
we had
Phillies nuts because the draft's going on and the pen relays are going on and the Pope's here and why the hell not?
It was mostly from the draft.
Right.
We were scheduled even last week, and we decided not to have you come into the city because sometimes I know you hustle, and to kind of combine this with some of your homework,
right?
Because I've been helping with some of your homework assignments, and let's just group it all together,
pretty much,
and
two birds, one stone.
Yeah, and make it a bigger thing for Norm to come in here,
right? And
then the other gap was I kind of took a week off.
Yes.
Of almost everything that was around Easter. And that was a Peter, I don't know, I felt like within that week I realigned my, so much of my life in 1 week. Just reformatted things. I'm hitting the microphone here. Just kind of, I don't know, gutted out the entrails.
I feel you.
And just ripped out the guts of my life.
Sometimes you gotta skin the carcass.
Yeah, it's almost like in, imagine in Temple of Doom. I tore out my own heart and looked at it.
Kalima!
Okay. So you're back.
I'm back.
But you know what, too? That was supposed to be our intro. We already started talking. So, hey, Norm's back, and we just had a huge intro.
Yes.
We just had a huge intro for Norm. This might be our longest intro yet. We're maybe 2 minutes in on it. What are we talking today? We're doing Guardians.
We're doing some Guardians.
Volume 2.
Guardians, yeah.
Volume 2.
Yeah.
And let's just hit the and then we're back. We're talking Guardians too. I want to get right into it.
Sounds good.
I want to get right into it. I did my first solo post movie.
Okay.
I did my first solo episode.
Right on.
And I had to come up with there's a new. You saw the new thumbnail, right?
No.
Oh, so the new thumbnail now is dominantly blue.
Okay.
But it has the Freddy Krueger screenshot silhouette from Dream Warriors.
Nice.
And it's I did extra blurring around it to kind of hide it, but not really. So it's always in the background.
Cool.
You may not always see all of it, but it's there. So 1 through 25 thumbnails for Dream Warriors was more brown tone and red tone.
Right. Brick wall.
Yeah.
Almost.
Yeah, brick wall. Yeah, it was actually a zoom of the of a boiler room.
Nice.
That's to me that was my inside joke. So this one we were just more of an extension on that. So I already set everything up. Some of the alignments off.
Okay.
Or it's different where everything was skewed and angled. Now everything's kind of symmetrical and straight, split down the middle.
Right on.
And so still the same things, still different. The names are just there now, so it doesn't say with Pete and Norm. It just has Pete, Norm, and whoever. So kind of equal billing type thing. And the other big part is when I had to design the thumbnail for the solo episode. Okay, what do I do? Because I need another thing to balance out the picture.
Right.
I need a left and I need a right. Yeah. So the right was, and I'm I was going to write something, but I'm it's just too literal and too much info. But it's basically the same picture of me, but it's a flip negative.
Nice.
So it's almost if you ever saw the Tales of the Dark Side TV show. It's the Tales of the Dark Side TV show was a negative, and it looks spooky as hell. So. And then I was gonna put Good Peter and Bad Peter, but then I'm that's too much. So it's just as Pete and Pete.
I got you.
But the second Pete also has reverse colors of the other Pete.
Right.
So instead of being like green with like red highlights or red stroke, it's red with the green stroke. So like you can kind of tell, okay? But I wanted to have fun with it. You know, we always talk about that. I've talked about it for a while. Like the solo episode was a long time like coming. I had I was kind of like really inspired post Guardians too, that I wanted to kind of just get into it, and like I guess me feeling it like was that really big like motivational kick to just like, hey, like let's do it, and it was partial force.
Makes sense
because there was like we had like another recording gap, and I'm like I just gotta get something ready to put out there. So this coming week there should be like 3 solid episodes released. Might be like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. We're gonna have like 3 straight episodes.
Right. Okay.
And then we'll try and record still within the week too.
Pretty much.
So you know, like this could be our most productive Dream Warriors week coming up. And,
lots of content.
Yeah, and I'm all for it, because if we could do this every single day for a few hours, like that would just be great. That would just be amazing.
I feel it. Hopefully we perfect that phone call and it'll be a reality.
Yeah, so let me tell you real quick. So originally we talked about like what became of that solo episode.
Right.
We talked about maybe recording a phone call in.
Yes.
To do something.
Yes.
Okay. So the downfall of that, okay, the movie theater, we had like regular times, like regular screen, regular times.
Right.
None of that worked for the movie theater.
Okay.
They switched the screens, so we got like a free upgrade. We went from like whatever to like IMAX 3D.
Okay.
Here we go. John and I, who I went to go see the movie with, we just jumped into movies. So we watched like almost all of Ghost in the Shell before Guardians, because we had like an hour to kill.
Okay.
So we watched like a chunk of Ghost in the Shell. Okay, and then we go to the theater. We're like, now's the time. So we get to the theater and there's like, it's empty, but they're starting something, and so we're like, okay, like maybe it's a little bit weird, or like I don't know. Okay. So this old couple comes in, but they start like him and I are like, we knew something was off, because not because like the theater's empty, is because like there's like no previews or anything running on the screen when you sit down.
Right.
So we sit down and it jumps like kind of like right into the newer Disney animal movie that's out, and we thought it was just like a vignette, like a preview. Okay, and then it just kept going, and we looked at our watches, and it was like 7:32. We're like, yo, like no, like. So there was an old couple there. Now, keep in mind the entire time, like I drank a bunch of like what I'm drinking now, this Highball energy drink, and I had like a crap load of Peaches 88.99 in it, 99 peaches in it, which is 99 proof. Like, and like I was drinking. We were at this burger place called Zen Burger before. So I drank there. I'm like, okay, like waiting for Guardians to start. Dude, I'm just being loud and like talkative and belligerent because I'm thinking like the movie hasn't started yet. And I'm like, there's an old couple here too. So now at this point, it's 7:32. The movie's supposed to start at 7:30. I lean over, like we're almost like a row apart, and I'm like, excuse me. Now I had to say like 2 or 3 times, and the old couple stopped talking. And I'm like, what movie are you guys seeing? And they said the name of the animal movie, and we're like, oh, like how is this possible? Could we go outside and we match it up? It's like 24:24, 7:30. They have a scrolling marquee. It says 7:30 Guardians of the Galaxy, and him and I are like, now I start to get anxious because I'm like, the hell is this?
Right.
Now they're going to put us into a different screen. It's going to be full. Like, no. So we go there, and I kind of like not really laying down attitude, but I'm almost like, why is everyone else in the right screen that you guys switched up? Like, understand there's problems. How do we not know? Okay. Now at the same time, I feel like I have to take that attitude, and it's almost like an ethical, like moral Peter balance thing,
right? Because
we were watching Ghost in the Shell. That's why we didn't get the message. because we're in go, but I can't say that. But then I still have to act like something's wrong. So,
so karma nipped you in the ass.
So there's just like so much happening inside of me. Like I just like don't know. Okay. So at this point, we get our 3D glasses. The one usher, I give him a lot of credit. This is the Lowe's in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. He walked us to where we had to go. He actually walked us inside. There was one that he brought us to this other screen originally, and the movie was like already starting. And this is before we talked to like the management, and we're like, no, like we're like that. This is still not the right screen. The movie's already started. Because he goes, yeah, and he goes, it just started. And my buddy John's like, it's 7. At that point, it was going to be like 7:35. He's like, it's 7:35. Well, the movie's like it's apparently already on for like 10 or 15 minutes.
Right.
So like, explain that one. So that's when he was like, all right, let's now go to like the front desk and figure this out. So he was with us through that entire exchange. I give him like a lot of credit. So he walked us in. He sat us down, and then we got into the movie. Like we got there, we got like a halfway, still halfway decent like 3D like movie seat. I will say this though, in 3D, one of the best 3D movies I've ever seen.
Okay.
I wasn't expecting to see in 3D or
to this day. I still have to give that credit to Judge Dredd. Dredd.
Dredd. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you one thing. Like this was layered throughout the entire movie.
Okay.
Like everything felt like it had depth.
I can see that.
Okay, and especially in the beginning with Kurt Russell, and when they're in the car,
right?
Like they were like everything. The car was like separate. Like the car window was separated, and then you could see the girl, and then you could see him.
Okay,
and that's just like how we're starting. And I'm like, yo, like when it really kicks up, because it's going to kick up, I'm like, this is going to look so cool.
Yeah, right.
Okay, like I was like, it got me so much more like into the movie at
that's
that point.
What's up.
Okay, and that was like a pleasant surprise. But now I'm thinking like I've stayed away from the 3D like stuff, but the price point isn't crazy now.
It's not horrendous.
It's a closer price point.
Right.
Before there was like a gap. It used to be like 11 and then like 16 and 17.
Right.
So
they just upped the price of a regular ticket. Yeah. So now you're paying 14 versus 16.
So now I'm just like, well, like you got me again, theater industry. Okay. Mm-hmm. So again, like that was like such a like nice like surprise, and we were already excited for the movie, but then at that point we were frustrated, and I was like out of alcohol.
Oh, I believe it.
So I'm like, what are we doing with our lives, man? Like this is empty. Like, come on. So at that point, though, so by the time we saw Guardians of the Galaxy, we saw like a huge chunk of Ghost in the Shell, because when he brought us to the other theater, like there was still like at this point it was like we had extra time to burn.
Gotcha.
So we're like, let's just go back to Ghost in the Shell. So we went back to Ghost in the Shell, okay? And we caught like the end of that. We caught the big tank sequence. Mm. And here's what I did. There was one person in Ghost in the Shell, okay? And I don't know if that person was even awake. But it's so, and dude, I was so not the guy to have at the theater. Like I was like so much in Peter zone where like I should not have been allowed inside of the theater. So this woman that was right near us when we were watching Ghost in the Shell, her phone like comes on, like she was getting a phone call, and I just kind of like I know she heard me, but I was like, you can pick it up, like you can talk, like I don't mind, like we don't mind. It's like I was disrespecting Ghost in the Shell. Like we don't care. Like we don't care. Okay. Mm-hmm. So when at the end of Ghost in the Shell, the pivotal visual that like is always shown in clips of the anime, the still pictures are everywhere. It's part of like the lore of the movie. Is when she tries to pry open the top of the tank, and she rips her body apart. Like she rips her arms off. Both limbs, and she's like a stump, and she stumbles out of the tank.
Okay.
Okay. And then like the tank basically like pulls out this like claw and like picks her up by her head and like starts to crush her, and like her headpiece like shatters, and like it's a huge part of the movie, like huge part. And so like John didn't know about that, so like I kind of told him about it like as they were building up into it, like obviously where I was like they're fucking doing like the spider tank, this is like really cool. So I brought it up on my phone and I held it up in front of us and I was playing the original anime sequence off of YouTube.
Okay.
As they were running the movie.
Nice.
And you got to see like the shot by shot. And like kind of like almost the same. There was an extra character involved, so there was like two of them, not just ScarJo, but it was like still kind of like a cool thing to do. And okay, and guess what? Like I don't know, man. Like we were watching it. Like like I don't know if it's a bad movie.
All right.
Like I don't know if it like this I don't know, like rake through the coals that it got. Like we're kind of watching it, and I'm like, it's like I'm kind of like following it. I'm into it. Definitely, like the sci-fi future is like just cool,
right? Up.
Like really cool, and like the car is awesome. Like they just like you see shots of the car, but you knew like what some of the setup shots were,
right? Like
you knew where like the water sequence was coming, where she's camouflaged. That's also borrowed from the anime. Like you knew like some of that. Right. Which is like, and then it's still one of those things you're like, oh, dude, that would have been like such an awesome surprise. And I'm like, oh, like, and this is where like I'm so for the idea for them to manufacture trailers,
okay,
and have cool things in those trailers that they can still have shot like stuff of the movie, like if they want to tell the story, but have things in the trailers that are not in the movie.
Makes sense.
I am all for that because the revelation of her being camouflaged and like punching out the guy, and the guy also too in that scene he was camouflaged as well too.
Okay.
So like you don't even know where that scene's going to go. Like once he spots her, you're almost like, oh, is he going to cloak himself? Like, and then like, what's that? Like, what's that even going to look like? It's like two cloaked predators going at it. Okay. Like how's it going to end? What's the rules here? What's the logic being applied? And so like that, like Ghost in the Shell was like a really good experience, like because it was very just cool. Surprising, and there was definitely a break in the movie where it slows down.
Okay.
And they establish maybe like what's happening with her, what she's going through, but it's essentially like a chase movie. Like she's going from one thing to the next, trying to like unpack all of this, and like, but you're still like, again, it's almost from my view, what I saw, like no different of a structure than Blade Runner, like no different, and Blade Runner is held on this like this top shelf. Mm-hmm. But like at the end of the day, there's very few like backing up Blade Runner though, because it's a like have someone explain that movie to you. Right. It's so tough. Mm-hmm. Like it's not this. It's universal because people want to say it's innovative and dark and it's a gritty future, and something happens.
So is Waterworld.
Yeah.
Get over it.
But I love
So do I. So do I.
At least I can follow.
I always watch that with Escape from New York. That's like my go-to double feature because it's like land and water.
No, I will say this, okay? At least I can follow what happens at the end of Waterworld.
Right.
Now,
they find land. Spoiler alert. The guy with the gills goes back to the water. He's a merman. Yeah. Get over it.
Dennis Hopper nuked. Yeah. Like, and we're moving on, people. Like, we're good. Thank you, Kevin Reynolds and Kevin Costner. Like, yes, you guys helped us out. But yeah, and it's just, I think there's a side of me that's drifting away from the deconstruction that we came up on with film. Meaning that, like, can we get back to having solid endings?
Just having fun.
Yeah, and having fun. Mm-hmm. And not having these, like, wide open scenarios to, like, again, like, little Blade Runner-ish, where, but for Blade Runner, it was more unique for its time.
Right.
Which is maybe why it stuck. Now it's like, again, like, I watched this romantic comedy on Netflix with this chick, and the movie ended that way. Mm-hmm. It just stopped.
Yep.
And I'm like, and it was actually kind of good. It was like a 2-person like character piece, and I was like digging it. And then it just stopped. And I'm like, oh, like F this.
Are they together or not? You pretentious fuck.
And at that point though, but you know what's frustrating? I think it's done so often today.
Yeah.
That these filmmakers, I don't think they know.
Yeah, no, they're like, I'll let them pick because I don't know where I want it to end.
Yeah.
Yep.
But the funny thing is though, when you look at it from like kind of like what I was telling you earlier, like the Doctor Strange effect, like you watch a movie, like you're sitting down, but you watch the movie as if you're not there, meaning that like you watch it as a fully raw audience member, no film knowledge, you don't know who directed it, you're just strictly watching it. And a lot of times when you take that approach and you see an ending like that, you immediately are like, well, I would have accepted this because of like what happened over here.
Right.
And you told me this should be happening because you set A, B, and C up. Like, you told me this will be happening.
Right.
And then it really is kind of like dropping an ice cream cone when you don't see it. And you're like, man, like, I got the ice cream and the cone still, but I don't want to eat the cone yet. It's like hard. It's not even soft. Like, it's a totally different experience. All right, so tell me. Talk to me. Talk to me.
Well, we got... we had We had the 10 o'clock show.
Yeah, the 10. Yeah. So the point I was getting at, when you texted me you were out,
right?
Like, I was still, like, in it.
Okay. Well, that's the funny thing.
Because
we had the 10 o'clock
got
show
so mixed up.
We went to Adelphia's. We were getting some drinks. We were having a good time. It was filled with old retired mobsters. I don't know why, but it was.
That used to
I'm talking pinstripe suits and fucking flowers in pockets.
Used to be such a high place.
Oh, dude.
Used to be...
They were all doing the electric slide. It looked like someone was going to break a hip. Shit was rough. So our movie time was for 10. We got to the theater at like 9:50. Rachel gets right in line for food. And we're actually, for once, at AMC 8, the reserve seating theater, standing in fucking line for a movie. I can't fathom it.
Wow.
So we're standing there and we're waiting, and we're waiting, and we're waiting. Turns out, the 7 o'clock show before us got to watch a half an hour of the wrong movie.
Oh.
So they queued it right up. So they're running a half an hour behind.
Your theater had, like, problems just like mine.
Yes, that's why I was like, oh shit, no way. So they watch a half an hour of the wrong movie. So everything's pushed back a half an hour. We sit down and I'm like, I can't wait to see the Thor trailer on the big screen and what else they got. And it goes right into the fucking movie. Like, credits just start to roll. And I'm like, what the heck? Where's my Thor? Like, I was upset.
Well, that's kind of like what we did with ours. But
I was like, I don't even have a chance to get in the movie mode. Like, credits are fucking rolling. Like, here we go, I guess.
We left Ghost in the Shell a little bit early. Because our showtime was pushed forward, and there was already people in that theater,
right?
Like, and I'm almost like, I'm not sitting here for an hour.
Yeah,
I'm just not. So we got ice cream when we saw Ghost in the Shell. That was like our date. Okay, we got like Nutty Buddies. I haven't had a Nutty Buddy in years, and I'm like, yes, okay. And so I was pissed because we left Ghost in the Shell early to see Guardians, because I'm like, oh, like you should, because there was something that dropped that day that I thought was running with Guardians that he didn't see that I wanted him to see. Okay. And I'm kind of forgetting what that was, but there was like a trail.
Baby Driver.
Yeah, and but we get there and it's just like blank, and I'm like, okay, and then it went like we waited like 10-15 minutes, like okay, and we went right to the movie. And I'm just like, and I was like, we could saw the ending of Ghost in the Shell. I was like pissed. I was like,
yep.
I was like, fuck. And I was like,
now I gotta rent this movie for 20 fucking minutes.
What's happening at the end with ScarJo? Yeah. But yeah, so okay, so you guys, and you know what it is? It's not that you have to see trailers to get into movie mode,
right? Yeah,
no. It's a thing that you expect,
right?
And once it happens a few times, and then you look forward to it. It's like, again, like the carpet getting pulled out from underneath of you when it doesn't happen.
Right. Yeah.
And, and I think sometimes it gets your brain going.
Well, a good chunk of the time, the theater, if they don't get it like a day or two before the internet does, they get it the same day. So, like, more or less a good chunk of the time, you're getting freshly uploaded trailers
Yeah.
Just sometimes with speculation, like this one can only be shown with Fox Movies. We're not promoting on a Lionsgate or a Legendary film. Like,
Yeah.
So aside from that, they really do get, like, every day they get a new shipment of reels from studios. So it was that, like, I wonder what is going to be dropping in the next couple of days that they're going to pair with Guardians.
Yeah.
And, you know,
well, I know it's always kind of like a cobbled, like, mix match.
Yeah,
like,
it's pretty much up to whoever's running the booth to kind of, I'm going to put this one, and this one's always fun. Like,
well, I think
that's how you go into a Marvel movie and you get a Batman Lego trailer because he's like, I want to see it all day.
Yeah,
like,
and you know what? Like, and there's nothing wrong with that. I think it's fun. I think sometimes you go down and you expect to see a trailer and you don't see it.
Right.
But I do think it like fires up your like. Your brain to watch a movie and like,
it's movie time when those start to come up.
And, and it's
like put your fucking phone away. Trailers are up. Movie starting in 2 minutes. Quit opening your goddamn bag. Like, stop it. Well, everyone be quiet.
Yeah. I mean, and like a huge. If people really want to know, like, are they just talking or does this exist? The correlation to this, like something you can do for like yourself. In two categories, like when you eat a meal, why are appetizers like on the meal? Well, they're supposed to build your appetite up, okay, which is traditionally you're supposed to eat appetizers like 2 hours out of a meal. Okay, but now like America's like, here's
I got 20 minutes till my burger's done. Bring me mozzarella sticks.
Here's a giant nacho plate. That's a meal. And it's like, wait, I thought this was an appetizer. Oh, yes, it is.
Yeah, you're supposed to eat it with 4. It's not my fault you're alone.
So when you look at like traditional like taste menus, there's things done within that experience to wake up your taste buds and heighten your taste buds. So when you get to like the entrees and more of the complex flavors, you can absorb and understand them.
Makes sense.
Same thing's done for like wine, the way how you taste wine. When you read, right? Like very rarely when I read do I jump into it.
Right.
Like it's always like a couple paragraphs, sometimes a few pages, until like you start to like you almost like feel the imprint happening on your brain.
Right.
When you're going through text. Okay. When you sit down to watch a movie. There is nothing any different. Like, and I do think like when it comes to watching TV at home, I think commercials have that effect.
I can see that.
Like where like like Flash is coming. Like for you, like Flash might be coming on. You have 10 minutes, so you just put it on CW,
right? And
you just burn through like the end of one episode or something.
Yeah.
The commercials, and then like Flash starts, and you're kind of like your brain and your retinas and everything's kind of like going. So you like you're more in a absorption state. Okay, and this is why trailers are important. This is why it never ever wasn't a movie theater experience.
Right.
Okay, and like I try, like I was telling Mark was here earlier. And because we were doing 2 episodes in one day, like he was going through my watch list on Amazon Prime.
Okay,
and I'm not joking. It was like more than one half of what he was scrolling through were movies I watched like 5 minutes of.
I believe it.
Okay, because I will watch something for 5 minutes, boom, pick something else, boom, pick something else until I'm fired to like absorb it.
Right.
And sometimes they'll be like they're not bad movies. Some of them are like some of them are corny. Like I'm picking them because of like Basic Instinct 2. It's like I gotta remind myself about this movie. Like and then it's like, all right, like I had enough of this. Moving on. And like I even like ramp myself up. So like when Guardians started, which Guardians is like a intense movie.
Right.
It's just there's just a lot there.
Overly intense.
Yeah.
Let me just say.
And it's an intense movie just to jump into if you're not like fired up with the trailers for it. But yeah, so anyway, so you get there. Did you guys get food? Did you say?
Yeah, no. We got Rachel got nachos.
Yeah.
She hooked us up with a large popcorn. She got me a hot dog because she knew I was hungry. We were set. We were set.
Hot dog.
I miss when I made the hot dogs there. I'll say that.
Yeah.
I like them a little burnt.
Yeah,
Those rollers
so
are
do
good.
I. Yeah, so do I.
They just pull them off when they look done, and it's like, nah, you gotta let them get a little brown
Yeah.
and bubbly and fucking oily. Come on, man.
It's one the fat burns onto the roller. And then
that's always how I did it.
Yeah,
Yep.
and then the rolls onto the hot dog. Yeah, that's why roller hot dogs are so
I
great.
love fucking what's the word? It pretty much at the end of the night, it's like, oh, we have 5 hot dogs left. No one's gonna buy them. Can I take one home? Like, yeah, go ahead. Like that was always the best. To like the inventory at the end of the night of like, this one looks extra burnt. Can I have it? Like, you go ahead. You're closing.
But that's the one you kept moving to the top of the stack the whole night.
It's 11:30. Yeah. I'm just gonna put one hot dog on the roller. Damage them out. There it is.
Right.
Damaging out the old hot dogs.
And like the movie theater's like, well, we sell those at such a high margin. Yeah. We're going to act like we're doing you a favor.
Well, the worst was when they would say like, all right, well, we don't put condiments on them, so just dump the dogs and keep the containers. So like you flip it over so the bun and the hot dog goes in the trash, and then you just stack the containers for the next day to put a new hot dog in. Like, that's awesome. Trade secrets, everybody. Yeah. Trade secrets.
And this is why you never have Norm serve you a hot dog.
Pretty much.
Yeah. So tell me about this movie.
I was a little disappointed. It's a good movie. Definitely a good movie.
Where were you? Where was the disappointment?
It was so fucking heavy. It was so heavy. Like, you go into it and you're thinking like, all right, it's Guardians. The Avengers get heavy, Civil War gets it, but like this is a fun space romp. It's going to be a good time. Oh shit!
And
Star-Lord's dad's an asshole. Oh shit! Star-Lord's dad gave his mom cancer. Oh shit! Yondau's dead and Rocket's an asshole throughout the entire flick. What the fuck am I watching? Yeah. Like, what is happening? Why is this so sad? I came into this expecting like, woo, I'm gonna giggle, and like after the first 20 minutes, none of the jokes hit their marks with me.
Really?
And it just got heavier and heavier and heavy. And I was like, Rachel cried for 40 minutes.
Yeah.
40 minutes, she cried like a baby.
Well, I thought the movie...
It's good.
I laughed throughout the entire movie.
It's a good movie.
I thought
Don't get me wrong.
Like, a lot of people say the jokes didn't hit.
But it let me down.
Which is kind of weird. Because
they didn't hit with me.
Because I watched the first one with quite a few people. Mm-hmm. And not everyone thinks the first one's even funny.
Okay.
So, and that's just how humor works. Again,
I can see that.
You and I can sit down.
Right.
We love Tropic Thunder.
Yes. We will laugh at different parts.
Yeah.
Every time.
But it's like, we love it. Okay?
Yes.
There's people I know that they don't get it. They think Tropic Thunder is like a not knocking them, but like a CW like comedy that ended up on like Netflix or whatever. Like, you know, that. Like comedy is not always going to connect and resonate.
No, comedy is always subjective. Yeah, always.
And this is why like Guardians will kind of walk that line.
Right.
But I think where the comedy was coming from was an extension of like what we saw in the first movie, namely like Drax. Like Drax discovers,
he had his moments, yeah,
but he discovers humor in the first movie. He doesn't know humor, and in this movie he's exploring it and actually embraces it and becomes more of a, in my view, like more of a character, less of like, because he was a cutout in the first movie.
I can see that.
He was just a brawler. Mm-hmm. A brawler, but maybe like he was a revenge brawler. He's going to fight in revenge. And in this one, there's like you actually like you're like, holy shit, dude! Like he's rejecting someone because he thinks they want to bang him.
Right.
And
Drax for me was like he had all the notes that I laughed at, but everyone else was the letdown.
So here's I think the one disconnect that I don't think people are pinpointing is that they were expecting what's his name, Star-Lord, to drive the comedy, to have the quips, to be Chris Pratt, and his storyline didn't allow it because his storyline was like more discovery,
right?
And
yes,
and reflection.
Who the fuck's gonna laugh when you find out your space dad gave your Earth mom a tumor in the brain because it had to be done? Hey, like, come on now.
But we were talking with someone this earlier though. Another nod to like Civil War,
right?
So they're echoing same as they did with Phase.
Well, that's what I was explaining. I was like, well, I guess Thor Ragnarok's the last like upbeat movie we're really gonna have, because once Infinity War hits and contracts start to end, blood's gonna come, motherfucker. I hope you're not attached to Chris Evans, because that motherfucker dead. He deader than disco. Thanos is gonna crush his head like a zit, and that's gonna be that, and it's gonna hurt right in the feels.
I think
in the feels.
I don't know. Here's the thing.
Aside from Ant-Man Wasp,
I think what they're doing, you cannot. There's no way to like predict what Marvel because with this,
from my perception, it's only going to get heavier after that last Thor. Just based on Guardians was supposed to be my feel good movie of the year. I did not feel good after I left that movie.
Yeah, but there's still like
I felt sad.
I just felt like there was it was emotional. But here's the funny thing, okay? Like we were kind of talking about this earlier, where it's hard when you have this like vocal minority that controls like the view of a movie, like Ghost in the Shell being a fantastic example, where you're like, what we don't know what's happening. Where like movies like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Out of the Shadows gives the audience everything that they said they didn't have in the first movie.
Right.
Like even the character, like the new Bebop, Rocksteady, Krang, they set up
Casey
Baxter
Jones.
Stockman, Casey Jones, and people still hate it.
Right.
So it's a really weird thing, but here's the thing. So when we watch Marvel movies, we always hear about complaints about the villains.
Right.
Now you have like maybe the most villain centric of all the Marvel movies.
Yes.
Okay. Outside maybe like outside Thor, Loki, but that was like okay. But you have the most villain centric of the Marvel movies, and you have this emotional pull in the movie. And you have like a major blockbuster that goes for your heartstrings and does it.
Right.
And that's disappointing. Like you're following me?
No, I feel you.
Yeah.
Believe me, I get it. Like it's a good movie. The movie overall really is saying, good. Like, I just was personally disappointed and let down. But one of the main things, like all of the advertising, even all of the interviews, pegged those gold people as the villains. These are the but. Yeah, like don't fucking lie to me. I'm not a moron.
No, because
as soon as I'm sitting in the movie, Ego's the goddamn villain.
Yeah,
like full blood. Like just say there's a little bit more to start. Like don't give me, but like don't.
But
it's just.
But what they did with that though, they
like he's one of their strongest villains. Don't get me wrong. Yeah, but I'm not. It was just such a like. It's everything I felt like that carried the emotional weight was so out of left field with this that it was like why?
Yeah. Well, but here's a little bit of what I feel like they were doing, which is they came out right out of the gate like you knew who Star-Lord's father was.
Right.
And then they and the gold guys were villains, like okay, but they bookended the movie.
Only after the fact that Rocket stole their batteries.
Yeah, but
before that they were hired. Everyone was good. We were on happy terms.
Yeah, but the whole thing though is like at that point, like you go into the movie, you know a big reveal is already given to you.
Right.
You see the villains. Everyone in like the trailers is acting. Like, like Guardians of the Galaxy. And you're like, yes. And then Baby Groot, like, all of it. And then...
Underutilized.
Yeah, but...
Along with Rocket.
But the whole idea of that movie was the turn of the father.
Right.
Okay? And I guess, like, the exploration of Yondu.
Right. Well, one of my favorite parts of that is when you find that just giant cask of the bodies, the skulls.
Yeah.
And then it's oh, well, your mom was the only one I ever loved. Oh, well, Yondu's been bringing me my children for hundreds of thousands of years, and they were the only women I ever loved.
Yeah.
And none of them had the light, and Peter did, and that just happened to be the one that Yondu was like, I'm not going to hand this kid over to get killed.
Here's the thing. So there's a lot of conversation on like Yondu being like the only solid part of the movie,
right? But
everything he says, it kind of makes no sense and it contradicts other stuff. And I'll have to go back into it. Like I'll probably have to watch it again because
at the end of the day, I hate that they killed him.
Because but it's like he says like I couldn't hand you over because of this, and then it's like Ego tells Star-Lord, he's like why did they keep you? And Star-Lord's like, well, because I could fit into small places.
Yeah.
And then Yondu's like, all right, I knew he was killing children, so I kept you. But you could also fit into small places. So he admits it. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like it's both.
Right.
Like okay, so you saved him from dying, but then like you still used him.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, that particular one wasn't going to die because he could control light. He can control light. But
that's the whole thing to where I even think like the way how they played out Yondu, like they kind of just made him say things at the right times to get you more involved with like what was happening.
Right.
I really don't think like it's Luke and Leia brother and sister type thing. Like it was kind of maybe made up as they went along, or who knows. But those lines ended up in the movie. Okay. But no, like I thought that was strong. I thought making Guardians a legacy thing now, huge with the Guardians like 3000. I thought.
Did you catch Miley Cyrus's cameo? Because I didn't.
No.
And I saw on the internet, but I didn't click the link to go into it, so that's my bad for not having the information here. But she was definitely in it.
Well, I guess good for her, right? Sorry.
She might be one of Stallone's guys, for all I know. In all honesty.
One of Stallone's guys.
She could be.
One of the Expendables.
Yeah, one of the original quote unquote 3000 future.
So like
Guardians.
So let me just like maybe run through what I really enjoyed.
Okay.
With this. Okay, I thought the humor worked.
Okay.
Because I was watching it as an audience member. I thought the way they splintered everything off worked. I thought they and by splintering everything off, I mean that like Nebula and Gamora splintering off, Yondu and Rocky Raccoon splintering off.
Right.
Okay. Peter and
going with his dad.
Yeah. Okay. Mm-hmm. Like I thought all of that worked. I thought for other movies that have done it, like just did that better.
It makes sense.
Okay. I think it totally expanded more of the Marvel cosmic like side. Mm-hmm. I really feel like this was a awesome setup. Now here's where I think the we have some extra sound effects.
Yeah, we got some wiener going on in the hallway
by the kids in the hall. But
little savages,
they're
little savages.
They're savage. They're drunken midgets.
Fucking pygmies, man.
Yeah, but
pygmy bastards.
They even woke up Dallas. Check him out. Look.
Oh, look, he's furious.
Yeah, he's like, oh my, one side of his face is smashed.
Just flat from the pillow he's been on for the last 5 hours.
Yeah. But okay, so here's where Guardians is a unique sequel. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so let's talk sequels real quick.
Right up.
Okay. What comes to mind? Aliens, right?
Predator 2.
Predator 2. Okay. Predator 2, believe it or not, falls on the side of Guardians. So we're gonna make like we're gonna split things up.
Okay. Sounds interesting.
So Predator 2 and Guardians they're
I can see that. They're tonally different.
They're on the list to some extent. So we have Aliens, right? That's people put that there. Terminator 2.
Okay.
I would put that with Aliens. I'll get into that. Godfather 2.
Okay.
We're just gonna go through sequels. Godfather 2 I would put on the side of Predator 2 and Guardians 2.
Jaws 2.
Jaws 2 goes Aliens.
Okay.
Okay. So Nightmare on Elm Street 2 goes on the side of Aliens.
Okay.
Okay. So then you're like, all right, like, so what's this freaking line that Pete's making? Okay. We have one side, which is like the alien side.
Right.
You can even argue, I would even argue Winter Soldier will go under Aliens.
Okay.
Okay. Iron Man 2 goes under Guardians. Thor 2 would go under Guardians. Okay. Avengers 2 would go under Aliens. And you're like, oh my god, like what
is this line? Explain it. We're losing viewers. Listeners,
this is chaos.
We're losing people.
Okay. the line is this. You on the Guardians side, you have sequels that have captured what worked in the first movie.
Okay.
And just kind of like let that grow.
Expand.
Yeah.
They've expanded and grown.
Like you
a mythos is built within the sequel.
Yeah, I mean, like kind of mythos, but more or less of like this is we now know our starting point. We want to like carry over and deliver the same thing.
Right.
So I think on that notion, that Guardians is one of the strongest sequels ever to do that. To really go from like 1 to 2, and it's now like a giant crossover. Like it's a big movie now. Like you just if you put those movies together, you're kind of like, whoa, okay. Now, I think the intake is the perception. Oh, well, you gotta go to the bathroom.
No, I'm grabbing a brew.
Oh, grabbing. Okay. Let me. I have to check my phone real quick. Yeah, let me know. Let me know when you are back into the fold.
Oh, this is gonna hurt. Right in the old feels.
Right in the old feels, nice. Yeah, so we have this side where like Iron Man 2 is like almost like where Iron Man 2 is just a straight up extension of Iron Man 1.
Right.
Doesn't
Chapter 2, if you will.
Doesn't really work. Thor 2 doesn't really work. Godfather worked. Okay? Like, it's just like, really just like an ongoing version of like the first movie. Okay?
Makes sense.
So, and the other line is when you make a sequel like The Dark Knight, and we have switched gears.
Right. Okay.
Aliens, like it almost like all the Alien sequels. But like this is like it's a common attempt. So both of them are like your two approaches. Gremlins, a new batch, right? Tried something new, completely failed. Okay, so it's a risk reward. Sometimes continuing fails, sometimes flipping another switch fails.
Right.
And they both have successes and they both have failures. I think for the size and the scale of the movie, okay, it worked. Now, here's the thing, and I was tweeting about this like the week before I saw the movie. Now, Guardians 2 would never have delivered on anyone's unless they did something like Winter Soldier. Right. Meaning like we flipped a switch and now this is like it's the same thing with like Aliens. Like they flipped a switch and they discovered the formula for a different type of movie, and everybody wants more of that. Right. Like in any Alien, even Alien, the Covenant coming out. Like people just want aliens.
I think Covenant looks good.
Yeah,
I'm excited.
Yeah, but people want the military space marines. It captures the imagination.
If they were smart, they would have spun those guys out into their own franchise. Let me see them battle. Let me see them screw those farm girls on Planet Rock 9 that they were talking about in between the bug hunt.
Yeah, the bug
What are the cockroach monsters they were talking about? Some bugs.
It's
like,
what the hell? I still love it when Bill Paxton's like, it's just another bug hunt.
How do I get out of this chicken shit outfit?
Get over here. Get
over here.
But yeah, so
now.
So like you kind of like we have this example.
Right.
Of like what sequels really are, what the attempt might be, what the design of the sequel is, and so you're like, well, okay, like maybe it's different, but Pirates of the Caribbean, great example, where people love the first one, right, and it's like you don't know what you love about it. Then you see, not Stranger, Dead Man's Chest.
Dead Man's Chest.
Okay.
Yep.
And you watch that movie and you're like, man, like he's still Jack Sparrow. It's still the same drama. They're carrying over the storyline, expanded the mythology, but man, like it's a different movie.
Right.
Like, question mark. Matrix Revolutions or like or Reloaded. Same example. Star Wars Episode 1. Same example. Right. And you're like okay. And then it's kind of like, at that point, when you go into the movie, you know what you don't like more than what you like. Right. Okay? And I knew this was going to happen with Guardians. Because the love and the anticipation was at such a high
Well, I
bar.
probably went wrong listening to a couple of reviews before I went in.
Okay, maybe.
Because they all talked about how great it was. Which, don't get me... Again, it's a good movie. It really... The effects are great. The acting is great. The music is on par. It's not as good as Volume 1 soundtrack, but what do you want? I'm a nitpicker.
Yeah.
But overall, the movie's really good. It just... The notes and the beats that it hit let me down personally, because I was going into it expecting like a fun romp.
Yeah.
And it just gets so fucking heavy. I can't stress how heavy that movie gets. Because I'm thinking like, oh, Baby Groot and Rocket and Yondu and Rednecks.
Well,
and
even like
tree monsters.
Even them like torturing Baby Groot.
Yeah.
You're just like, yo.
They pour the alcohol all over his head and he just walks back all sad like, I am Groot.
But dude,
like,
but still that whole sequence, but like him finding...
He called me Twig. I thought he called me Twig.
But dude, I love even Baby Groot like punching out there's like monsters in the beginning and like just going like buck wild. But no, so like that's the whole thing. Okay, like there's when we see like we've seen it before, we've seen enough of it.
Right.
That there's such a high, but the thing is like the expectation is like more of the same thing, but something different.
Right.
And then it's almost like they fail every single time they do that, and they skew it different.
It just like the way I viewed it was like Guardians was my lighthearted fun franchise in the movie universe, maybe coupled with Ant-Man. Beyond that, they all have their like heavy give and take.
Yeah, but
like you can have fun, but the movie gets heavy and people die. Guardians kind of set itself apart from that, aside from Groot in the beginning, and by the end of that, you get him dancing in a pot.
I still think like this movie
tonally it felt off to me. Is the best way to put it.
But then again, like what they do with these movies too,
it wouldn't have been as bad if the trailers would have maybe been more tonally in line with the movie. But they're showing you all the funny shit in the trailer, and you get into the movie, and it's like this isn't fucking funny.
Yeah,
like my girl is crying next to me. I don't know what to do here. Someone stop Quill's dad from being an asshole, please.
Yeah, and I felt like that was something too.
It was just misleading. Like all the trailers were misleading.
Yeah, I think a lot of the jokes and a lot of the beats were revealed in the trailers.
Yes.
And do I think some of them would have been like more same as like Ghost in the Shell with that water scene? Like, who cares if you haven't seen the anime? Like, reveal that. Like, reveal like that guy thinking he got away. And her like cloaking her ass and like just coming after him, and you're like, yo, like, and she's hot, you know. But, but yeah, so I'm like I 100% agree with what you're saying on why it's different, and like,
I wouldn't mind it. I don't mind it being. It's just what I was fed leading into it and what I got.
Yeah,
it just felt like, oh, you ordered the chicken parm. Well, here's a piece of chicken with ketchup on the side, and some melted cheese in a cup.
It's not so much like that. It's like I always say, like you order chicken parm, and they gave you eggplant parm.
Okay,
that looked like that looked like chicken parm.
They fucking breaded it, you bastards.
Yeah,
where's my protein?
It looks like
where's my protein?
Yeah, it looks it, but it cuts different and feels different in your mouth. Yeah, but no, but I do feel like this is something that like can't be avoided. I feel like it's from the filmmaker and the studio standpoint, you just have to go with it.
I would have been, like I said, I would have been fine with it. They shouldn't have put that happy little bow on it. It should have been a little more.
So, like,
give me a grittier trailer.
Yeah, I'll tell you the one thing.
Advertise that Ego's an asshole.
Yeah,
because that
was the revelation, though.
The revelation could have been he gave his mom fucking cancer and Star-Lord's not going to be a superhero anymore. Because I didn't really think of him as a superhero until I heard about the light shutting down around him.
But now, like what they did with this movie too, they perfectly set him up to be a superhero. Like
they took away his superpower.
He
because the light's gone, so now he's just human. He can't survive in space anymore for 3 minutes while Gamora has his headpiece because that's all gone.
No, that wasn't a part of his thing. His thing was
after seeing how quick Yondu died, I was like, all right, his dad's blood kept him alive.
Yeah,
it was like just like holding the rock. He just has that celestial. I could be in space.
Well, yeah, that's a part of him. That's like like the superhero parts, he was able to hold the Infinity Stone and not die.
Right.
Okay.
Maybe be in space for an extended period.
Yeah, I don't know. I really don't like maybe like like I didn't think of that, but
because they're in him. If you honestly did that scene with him and Gamora side by side with him and Yondu, they're in space for the same amount of time. So if it's not Quill's like celestial blood that keeps him alive, like Yondu should be able to thaw and be fine on the ship.
I would say that's potential nitpicking. I would say that's potential nitpicking.
Fair enough.
But anyway, but he like so. And I might be seeing the movie. I should be seeing the movie again tonight.
Right now,
someone, okay.
I'll see it when it hits Blu-ray.
Yeah, but
I'll buy it.
But tell me why
I'll be reluctant to watch it.
Tell me why you think the light in him went away cause of.
Well, he says, like, once I'm not here, like, my power, your power comes from, like, me and this planet. Once I'm dead and this light is gone, you're just a regular human. So the ability to hold the Infinity Stone, to be in space, that, like, celestial entity within him, they say it, he says it he says, if you kill me, Peter, you're going to be mortal, just like the rest of them.
Like at the end when he's like kind of pleading for his life.
Yep, he says if the light in me goes, you're nothing. You're just another human.
I'll give you that, and that's interesting if they did that, because from what I picked up, it looked like that they like powered him up and they kind of like gave him a full origin, and it was kind of like Star-Lord has like a 2-movie origin now, which I thought was like a bold move.
Yeah, and when he's like starting to crumble at the end.
But then again, he always operated as if he wasn't a superhero.
Right.
So it's
all about the mask and the guns with him.
Well, yeah.
Because in the first, he doesn't know.
Right.
He has no idea.
I was going to say, up until like the first and through the first movie.
He's just a ballsy guy. He's the John McClane of the Marvel Universe.
Yeah.
Is Chris Pratt.
But I really feel like that was the disconnect, though. Like the lack of Pratt in this.
Hey, like I said, for me, it's not even like Baby Groot's barely in it. Which, all right, fine, whatever. Yeah, you want to explore new characters, I'm fine with that. You got Manish, you got Yondu.
But he had like...
But even Rocket...
He had like 3 big scenes, though.
You're right, he did. But like Rocket's an asshole the entire fucking... And it's just so out of place. Like in the first one... in the first one, he's a jerk. In this one, he's just a straight up asshole. Yeah. Like he's overtly rude. He's not funny. He's like, no, I'm like he's vying for captain, and it's like, no, you're the brains. He's the captain.
But you're telling me you didn't love the Rocket taking out the Ravagers scene?
I never.
Like that was
the movie. I said at the start of this. I gotta stop hitting this.
Yeah,
I said at the start of this, the movie is good. Norm was just personally let down for its tonal. Like the action sequences are great. When Rocket and Groot are in the movie, it's awesome. Yondu really does steal the show. The emotion that he brings to it, like Chris Pratt and his dad's relationship, is all good. I love the Gamora sisterly stuff going on. Like, it all works. It just, for me, I was let down with my personal expectations, and it's going to carry over for at least 2 to 3 viewings until Norm's like, oh yeah, everyone dies. It's okay.
So what are some of your likes?
Likes? I've been so hung up on the hates.
Yeah. See, I just like that's where I think sometimes like again, it's almost like
I loved it. I loved it. They brought in Howard the Duck again. That was a nice little cameo.
Yeah,
that was fun.
Yeah.
Most of the end credit stingers like were really Adam Warlock coming in, Stan Lee being a watcher, which we had talked about in previous episodes. Yeah, like that's just fun. I don't care. Fuck you. It's fun. It's fun. It works. He's everywhere. How can one man be everywhere? He's the watcher. He's a god.
It's stupid.
Just deal. You got to deal. That's what happens when you put James Gunn on a set with Stan Lee and say, film the next 5 Stan Lee cameos because we don't know how long he's going to be alive.
And technically, he's not a watcher because he says he delivers mail to the Fantastic Four.
Right. Well, A, Fantastic Four is not in the universe, and B, if you listen, he is considered a watcher informant, which is what he's credited as.
Okay, so here's the thing.
He's an Earthling.
In the 616 Marvel Universe, which would be like Marvel Prime or whatever.
Right. Okay. Not Ultimate.
Right. The 616, which is if you buy any regular Marvel comic, it exists within the 616 universe. Stan Lee.
Has 616 been going since the 40s? Is that same universe?
No, 616 is now like still there, and it's the merged universe post Secret Wars.
Right.
Okay. It's just like it's a mess though. They're in horrible shape.
Fair enough.
Stan Lee was the post office worker that delivered to the Fantastic Four. He was written in the comics.
Okay.
So when he references that, he's talking about his 616 comic book version, which now makes like no sense. Or he's delivering mail to the Marvel U version of Fantastic Four.
Okay.
Or he's the guy from the comic book now that exists in the movie universe. So like they're different universes. 616 is not Marvel Extended Universe.
Right. No. Of course not. So if anything, I would say it's Ultimate. Yeah. If we had to pick, I would pick it as Ultimate. Because
I think they're like even like they allude to that the Marvel Cinematic Universe is just another multiverse in the Marvel scheme.
Well, that would make sense. I mean, DCEU is considered the 53rd at this point.
Yeah, exactly.
Like out of the new 52, which when they were doing that, there were 52 DC universes that they had already messed with. So the new 52 was their newest conglomerate, if you will. So the DCEU becomes 53.
Yeah, so I don't know, like, but I thought, and a part of this was like before I saw Guardians, I caught Pirates of the Caribbean 3. I think
I just bought that first 2 disc at Tunes for like $1. The other day.
Yeah,
because it's been so long.
Yeah, so here's the thing. I watched Pirates 3 like on Stars.
Okay. Still have to see the 4th one.
Yeah, and here's the thing. That's like one of the best third movies.
Okay, I can see that.
It's ever made.
The only thing I remember about the third one is the pirate president boat. Where Elizabeth, so Jack's just like, fuck you all, I vote for her.
Yeah, so here's the thing.
Breaking the cycle.
Yeah, so here's the thing. Like, in that movie, there was, like, so much, like, double-crossing, like, pirate-y stuff in the middle of that movie. It's actually, like, fun to watch.
I believe it, yeah.
Like, the mythology's there. They go bigger. Like, you have a whirlpool, and then you have, like, Jack Sparrow and Davy Jones dueling over his heart in the chest on the top of a sail in the whirlpool while they're blasting each other with cannons, and you're almost like you cannot get any more like pirate than this,
right?
Like, and that's
just bring back the Kraken.
Yeah, and
should have never killed it off screen,
dude. And they went bigger with that. There's consequences. There's death. There's love. There's betrayal. Like, that movie has like.
No, I feel it's. I like the first 3,
and people.
It's why I still have to see the 4th, because I like the first 3. Like, the second one's a little weird, like you were saying. You got zombies, even though the first one we kind of had zombies in a sense, cursed zombies versus like undead underwater zombies. It gets convoluted, but they're fun.
Yeah,
they're fun.
And people will say that they like hate. Like, the third Pirates movie is the worst one. They will say that. Like, I mean, like, this is before Stranger Tides came out, the 4th one.
Right.
But they'll say, like, the worst ones are 3 and 4. They'll go, like, the best pirate movies are 1, 2, 3, and 4. Like, they'll just go top down. And it's like, but that's a little bit like what I'm talking about, like, even with this movie. Where, like it kind of has everything, and it has so much more, like, so much new to it.
Right.
And I think it like makes it just holds it up, and I just really feel like this movie will kind of like hold up and stand the test of time, because there's so much of like who these characters are in this, you know. And you know what, like,
if Guardians of the Galaxy 1 was my generation Star Wars, they definitely delivered on giving my generation's Empire, because everything is darker, shit gets heavier. Like, hearts get broken, people die.
Yeah.
Like, the only way that they could have matched it even better would be if Han Solo died in the carbonite. Like, it really is a good movie, and I do, like, it's good. I can't argue that it's good. It just...
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, like, I just...
like I said, one of the main things I think that shot me in the foot was online reviews. One of the main ones I saw was like, oh, Yondu steals the show. I can't wait to see what James Gunn does in 3 with Yondu. And it's but Yondu's not coming back for 3. Yeah. I don't know what movie you saw.
Well, because like he had like the emotional high of the movie, but the thing is, like
it wasn't even the emotional high. It was everything. Like, he was just fun.
Yeah, but this conversation, we talked about this before. Like, the conversation that comes out and that hits like the online reviews, like, it's again like it's maybe a level of collusion. It's platitude ideas about the movies. Like if you listen and read anything that anyone wrote about Guardians, like they can't even explain like why it may not connect. And it's almost like, and I feel like that's what we do. Like, like,
well, that's my main thing behind saying like the movie really is good.
Yeah.
But it doesn't hit the marks that you may be expecting to going into it, to where like you're going to be disappointed that it's not all laughs. And
but the thing is though, like I know, like I'm seeing the movie tonight. I know the person I'm seeing the movie with. Like, I know this girl's just going to like she's going to have fun and love it.
Right.
And like to me, like that's that's always a real audience. And this is where like to me like there's always like this corruption of like even people that review movies. Like if you can't tell me that if you can't come to the conclusion that Chris Pratt's absence, like his kind of humor, like is absent in this movie, and that was the reason why it felt off. Like if you can't try and pinpoint that or pinpoint like what the disconnect is, like you pinpointing the positives is as meaningless.
Right. Well, like I might not have been able to pinpoint Chris Pratt's lack. Yeah. But like for me, it's an overall lack of like comedy and like upliftingness. Yeah. If you like. While it's still all about family, which they really drive home with this, that Star-Lord's family are the Guardians and not his, like, actual family.
Right, yeah.
It's the people that he's been through the shit with. Like, I get that. Yeah. But the first one was just so, like, Groot had his moments. Gamora, Drax, Star-Lord. Like, everyone had their... And the whole movie's just, like, an upper...
But the thing is, though, too, like, the reason why that movie was interesting is because, like, you're exploring... these characters for the first time, and they capture you, and you're craving what they will do next because you want to see it.
I can see that. And that being said, going into that first one, I could give a fuck. I was actually pissed at Marvel that they picked Guardians over like Doctor Strange or Ant-Man to be that like filler for that. But like, I was upset because I was like, who gives a flying F about the Guard? Like, no one. The most they've had is like a 14-issue run before it got canceled. Like, who cares? Why waste the time? Yeah. You're just trying to capitalize on Star Wars that you don't own, which, ironically enough, now Disney owns.
Yeah.
But I digress. It's just that, like, the total tonal shift just
But that's what I mean. Like, the experience you had in the first movie and why, same as, like, The Matrix, okay, and... a lot of these other like transitions, like Pirates of the Caribbean.
Right. I just don't get why for Guardians it hurts me so much personally, as opposed to like that Cap 1 versus Cap 2, where that one gets heavy.
But they were different movies, though.
Like Avengers 1 and 2, like the second one gets so much heavier, but it's still enjoyable. Whereas Guardians 2 is the same amount of heavy that
I think a lot of it is like what you're bringing to it. Say, like, you accept Winter Soldier because it's a drastically different movie.
Age of Ultron.
Yeah, I mean, but Age of Ultron 2 is a drastically different movie.
It is.
Like, Avengers is a team adventure.
Right.
Okay? It's a big team fight. Like, that's just what that movie builds to. Avengers is, like, almost like the unraveling of a team mixed with all these other things. I mean, the premise of the movie itself. Like, the only way to recreate Avengers... was in Marvel Phase 2 to repeat Phase 1, which is like, here's 5 new origin movies, and we're going to give you like Avengers West Coast or something, and we're going to do the same thing again. Like, and that even like rolling off the top of my tongue, you're like, like no, like, you know. So what they did was like you almost like make a choice, and you just say like, you know, like we're going to do this because. You as an audience member, and even for me, like Pirates of the Caribbean is so good because like you don't know Jack Sparrow, and this is a fun universe, and it's like nuts, and it has cool fantasy and kind of violent and dark too at the same time, and lighthearted. Right. Okay, now that's like you experiencing something for the first time.
Right.
Okay. We all know that you can never do that twice.
Exactly.
So, again, like, you would never get that with Guardians 2. And that's what I think people, like, that's the disconnect that happens when they realize that. And because there's no way you can recreate the experience of discovering characters for the first time.
You're right. I'm not.
Like, you
I'm
know?
not denying
Yeah.
that.
I just think
for me, mainest. The biggest problem I had was the lack of laughter that I had.
Yeah.
Like it
Which
just
is
gets so
weird because
very dark.
Yeah, but which is
like
weird
at the halfway point.
You and I kind of have so much of the same sense of
No,
humor.
we really do.
Yeah,
it just
I
like
laughed so much during this.
the first 40 minutes. I was laughing, and then it just turned into like, I gave your mom cancer. I'm an asshole. Everyone has to die. Yondow died. Like it just became like bat. But like the whole second half of the movie's about death, and death isn't funny unless you're doing funny shit with it. Like a guy what's his name? Shit. Help me out. Not Coulson. Coulson's bald, glasses wearing friend. The S.H.I.E.L.D. agent. Sitwell.
Oh, yeah.
Like Sitwell. He gets thrown off a building.
Yeah.
Not funny.
Does, yeah.
He gets thrown out of a car and hit by another car. Fun. Like, it just... There's...
I get it, but, like... Look, I'm not saying, like, there's nothing wrong with what you're saying. Like, I 100% agree. Like
one of the main jokes I was expected from the movie, and I said this going into it so many times.
Yeah.
I saw the last episode of S.H.I.E.L.D. Tuesday, and Guardians was coming out Thursday.
Yeah.
And they had an extended preview for Guardians on it.
Yeah,
and it was at the end of the episode, and I was like, all right, I'll watch it. And this white circular thing with these gold windows comes down to the earth in front of Peter Quill, and the doors open, the golden doors, and out walks Ego and Mantis. And I'm sitting there, and I'm like, all right, that's a sperm cell. And he's a sperm. This is how they're going to tie it up. Once that white thing hits the atmosphere, a tail is going to come out and propel it through space, and it's going to be a big sperm. And these are the kind of jokes we were getting in the first. And the whole time, I was swearing, and like, no, it just gets fucking heavy. From there on, it's heavy.
Yeah.
Where is my, like, dirty joking, like, I
still thought it was, like, there. There was, like, so many good, like, dick jokes in Guardians.
There are, like, Drax carries it throughout with the humor.
You know, and
it just,
like,
the rest of them fall.
Like, I still like Rocket. I felt like...
See, I didn't like Rocket, and that disappointed me.
Stuff with him and, like,
the whole
Yondu.
time, he was an asshole.
Yeah, but...
And not, like, a funny asshole, like in the first one, like, oh, I need your eye. Like, fuck you, Quill. You're a dickbag. You fucked us over. No.
Yeah, I don't know, because...
It just felt out of place.
But like, Yondu addresses that.
Yeah. Towards the end. Like, they're both
Because Rocket is like...
Right, before... They're the same, we get to at the point. But the thing is, though,
like, Rocket is... He's all, like, fabricated.
Right.
And it's like... Everything that Rocket does is, like, you sit down and have a discussion what Rocket does. So, like, everything Rocket does in that movie is designed.
Makes sense.
Okay? And
right.
they're like, he needs to be like this. He needs to sound like this. Here's why, like, this is happening. Okay? You know, and but to me, like, that's where, like, and they address it. And from my perspective, when they address that and they do something purposeful, you're like, yo, like... They set that up for they use the entire movie to set up that confrontation,
right? And
that's what I get into.
But
when you
that's
see
the stuff that I appreciate when Rocket and Yondu are having that conversation about, like, I've been there, dude. I'm you. You're me. Like, I can appreciate that.
Yeah.
It just overall, in the grander scheme of things, knowing that Infinity War is probably going to kill off half of everyone that I've followed for the last 10 years of my life.
Look, see,
I keep saying
that's the stuff you need to kick.
Because it's hard to kick.
No, because you're talking about something that has not happened as an absolute. Okay, and here's the thing. You're already talking about people dying in Infinity Wars.
Right.
You're going to be so disappointed when no one dies in Infinity Wars.
I hope to God no one. If Chris Evans survives Infinity Wars after he's been saying for the last 2 years that his contract is up and he's done and that's it, like, in my mind right now, by the end of Infinity Wars, Chris Evans, Captain America, Steve Rogers is going to be dead. And Bucky's fucking Buck self.
No.
Sebastian Stan is going to be holding the shield and in the uniform.
No idea who.
You're right. I don't.
But here's the thing. Here's a little indicator.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, they've already said that the phases are over.
Right. Yes.
Meaning that they know they can't sustain this, like, phase crap.
Right.
Okay. they have something larger planned.
Yes.
Or they just have something planned.
You can look at the Thor Hulk movie, because that's what it is. Thor Ragnarok is a Thor Hulk movie.
Everything's almost a team-up movie right now.
Exactly. So you can look at it as we're going to maybe get Ant-Man and Captain America hanging out for 90 minutes.
I don't know. I just...
Maybe.
I just feel like they...
It's going to be those oddball, like, who could we team up that we could tell a good story with? Oh, Black Widow and... fucking Iron Man. Let's do that movie right.
I just think, look, it just seems like they have a plan of action. They know what they're doing.
Oh, I don't doubt that.
And
I will never lose faith.
There's no way for us to know what they're doing.
But for one of the first, aside from like Age of Ultron, this is like one of the first times I've really kind of been disappointed in one of their movies.
Yeah, I don't know.
But it's still good. I'm not saying it's not a good movie.
I know you have
like it. I'll still own it. It'll still get watched in a Marvel viewing.
I'll still own it.
But like when it comes on FX, am I going to stop everything I'm doing like for the first Guardians and say, "Oh, I know what I'm doing for the next hour and a half"? Like I'll probably turn the channel to The Simpsons or something.
Yeah.
Like
I mean, I don't know. Like I just like I said, I think.
Although I love that when we finally get Ego in space, he's got those pink lines, the pink and the yellow lines from the book.
Yeah.
Like they did that so well.
Yeah, and they put his face on the planet.
Right. Yeah.
Like,
the typography is there. He's got the nose, the mouth, the eyes. Like they did Ego 100%. Like Manus was a fun character.
Yeah.
Drax, while most of his jokes miss with me, good chunk hit.
I love him berating Mantis about like.
You being ugly?
Yeah,
like,
that's the
you're ugly.
Thing.
You'll never find love.
Yeah.
But it's okay. But you're part of a family.
But even like at the end, he's like, "You're beautiful," and then he's like, "On the inside."
Yeah.
It's like, you're like, oh my god, they're like sticking to it.
Yep.
They've like stuck to their guns.
Yep.
But I don't know, like it's just kind of like.
Teenage Groot kind of bothered me a little bit.
Oh, I thought that was funny.
It was funny, but it was so out of place. No. Like I love the leaves everywhere. Like he's been like getting the sap out and all that. But it was just so I am Groot. Like it was just so like awkward seeing him like that.
Because he says I am Groot like a teenager would.
Right. I am Groot. Yeah, like the crackling voice, but like just Star-Lord being the dad. It was just. I feel like it should have been Rocket. Because Rocket was the one who was even like, I'm going to plant this stick and hope for the best.
Here's the thing. Rocket was friends with a version of Groot that is dead. And he became friends with a full-grown Groot.
Right.
So,
the Groot that is in the movie is different. An ancestor. He's an ancestor of our first Groot.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, that's the thing. He's just like this other, like, I think he's a totally separate character, and they've already kind of alluded to that, like that's true.
Yeah. Well, I mean, in the first one, the collector says, "Oh my god, a fully grown Groot! Yeah. I need you in my collection if you die." Like, thus alluding to like, A, they're rare. B, he's fully grown, and C, they're not this. Look, not all trees are the fucking same. Yeah. You racist bastards out there. Not everyone who's the same color is the same. All right.
But no, real quick though. This stinks. We're a little bit tight for time. We're going to have to wrap this up. I kind of want to I want us to sit on this, and I'm going to see it again. But I kind of want us to have another discussion. I really want to not only this, but I kind of really want to go into is it really like you're defeating yourself? Is it like you're building up the expectation and the perception of what something should be?
Yeah, no, we could. I could go home, look at my DVD shelf, and tell you the hits and the misses of what got me pumped and kept me pumped, and what got me pumped and let me down.
But the thing is, though, too, I'm discovering more and more movies I was disappointed with. One of the main ones, and I go back to them.
I can see that.
And I'm like, okay,
I just rewatched Suicide Squad for the third time since it's at HBO.
Oh yeah,
Rachel loves it.
It's solid up until that bar scene.
Even after that bar scene, I still it's a solid 80s action movie. If you look at it, there's a clown chick, and there's a mutant guy, and there's a fire guy, and a commando. Yeah. It's just a comic book Expendables. I stand by it.
But it's still like I said, there's just it's such a leap, and even
well, when I was rewatching it, the leap isn't even that bad, because at the end of the day, the fire god takes on the like Mayan god. Everyone else just does the distraction.
Yeah, but no,
even Harley Quinn like
have to
coerces her into like, I'm on your side. I'm gonna talk you down. I'm gonna keep you calm, and now I'm gonna cut your heart out.
Yeah,
like,
but you know what? That's what they're doing now. Like from a storytelling standpoint, they're lessening the power of a character that we already saw as like all powerful.
Right.
They weaken that character just so the character can be defeated.
Well, Harley Quinn's the one that weakens her.
Yeah, but the way I see it, they shoot her and like all this other stuff, and like you're like, all right, you're going to kill that with like a bullet, and I mean like there's missteps to that. I think that everything up until like that, even like that bar scene is like so good. It's like you kind of just go with it,
right?
When you're like going through the city.
I'm excited for Gotham City Sirens. I hope it happens. Yeah, I'll check it out.
Yeah, I'm just kind of like they got Whedon. They got Whedon doing Batgirl. Like he can.
I don't care.
Yeah, but if there's anyone like he's potentially in to kind of maybe like work on some of their other stuff,
right? So
like that's like a hope because he is like a story guy.
I feel you.
Like so I don't like it's all interesting.
I feel you.
None of it seems natural and doesn't like build confidence at all.
Right.
But,
we got 4 Batman movies in 2 years coming out, and it's the DCEU. The DC Comics Extended Universe within the next 4 years will have 4 Batman movies and maybe 2 non-Batman movies. So I think we should just start calling it the Batman Extended Universe.
Well, we've been saying that this entire time. It's the Batman Extended Universe.
What do you know? We're on the ball. We're right.
With that,
Tell your friends. Start listening.
We were wrong with Ghost in the Shell. That's our big mess so far.
Hopefully Norm's been right about Valerian and the Planet of 1,000 Planets.
What's your take on that? Bomb? Going to sink? You think it's going to hit?
Well, while we were talking trailers, that's one of those trailers that visually has me excited. In all honesty, Norm has his fingers crossed that hopefully Corbin Dallas will pop up in the background somewhere to like tie shit together.
What? I mean, why would you tie it together?
Why not? It's all a space epic. Why not?
Yeah, but Valerian is
a different planet that could be in the same universe that Corbin Dallas's Earth is in.
But
why not?
No, it's a different source material. Valerian's like based on a comic series.
I feel like
so now you're just taking like a random movie some guy made 20-something years ago and you're adding it to like a different source material.
Why not?
Yeah, I don't know if that would like.
It's all futuristic.
Yeah.
So you would have a problem if that movie was totally disconnected from Fifth Element, but you saw maybe Corbin's cab in the background?
I will say this, though.
Or like the species of the opera-singing alien somewhere?
Well, I think there are even different futures, where like the future in Valerian is like 500,000 years into the future, where like Fifth Element's like maybe like a couple hundred years in the future. Like Valerian is like eons, like a millennia from now.
Is it though?
Yeah.
To me, it looks like they could be set same universe, different galaxy.
They kind of look because like I think they're similar colors and shapes.
Well, I mean, it's all Luke Benson, so he's gonna have his style.
There's some of that, but it's like, but even like the Mark time frame of Fifth Element is kind of like future, but still there type of thing. You know, because like you still see like the Statue of Liberty and things like that, and they have like warp speed.
Okay.
But that's like the extent of their like they can jump through space, and that's like as far as they're. But Valerian is like they've been jumping through space for like thousands of years already, and like what does that create? And it's similar to like the fantasy worlds of like so you have like Dune, and what happened with Dune was like you had this idea of like folding space.
Okay.
Meaning that like you have like almost like portals and you go through the portals and you can travel within like a second. Okay? So there's no light speed in like Dune. Okay? Like Star Trek has and Star Wars has light speed. And
right.
We know even with light speed things could take hundreds of years to reach points. Dune you have jumping of the points.
Like a Stargate almost.
Yeah, exactly like a Stargate. And then like a bunch of these guys what they did was they took some of those ideas with Dune and they kind of like added them to Warhammer, the role-playing game. And Warhammer like goes through that in such a like crazy way but it's almost like they go through like light speed and jumping through space, and that's how humanity like populates the entire galaxy. Like the entire galaxy is populated by humanity, but that's also like that's why it's called like 40K, because it's like 400 like 1,000 years or like 40,000 years in like the future or whatever. Like but it's like. But I don't know, like, that's how I look at science fiction sometimes, where, like, it seems like it's open to science fiction, but then there's, there's monumental barriers in my eyes between Star Wars and Star Trek, where they're like, what if they... And it's like, no, it's like, there's nothing in the Star Trek universe that could ever compete with anything in the Star Wars universe based on, like, capabilities. Like, meaning that like, we all know the Enterprise can kick some butt, but it's almost like against like a Star Destroyer or like even like the Millennium Falcon. You're like no, because like the vehicles the size of the shuttles in Star Trek, the vehicles that size in Star Wars can reach warp speed. Right. So it's a whole different like type of technology, and it's all fantasy. But there's almost like rules. I feel and like you make a list, and you're like, these are the rules that these guys go by. And then these are the rules that these guys go by. And then, like, you start to match them up. And then you're like, no, like, Thor would probably kill Superman. Right. Like, or, like, like, we know that Captain America would kill Batman. No one can kill Hulk. Like, and you quickly do it, but what happens is, like, you don't really care. Right. Like, you want to watch them fight. Mm-hmm. And that's, like, could Superman beat Goku? Probably not. No, like I view Superman as like infinitely weak because he doesn't have a scalable power. Okay. He gets like beat up and he's like, I'm not dead. Like I'm going to fight hard. Like
I would just call him an emotional pussy. Personally, like he's afraid to go full blown, so therefore Goku would kill him because Superman is just afraid to go full Kryptonian on Earth. He's gonna say no. Yeah. I have a respect for life. Goku's a good guy. He fights the bad guys. I can't knock his head off with one punch, so he'll Kamehameha me till I'm ashes. Like that's the way that's gonna go. All right.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and
One Punch Man versus Goku. Now there's an argument to be had, dear sir.
Yeah, that's kind of like always like what the thing is. So it's like kind of like I think they give Superman so much credit.
Side note, speaking of the thing, since you said the thing, have you seen the prequel in a while?
No, we talked about this before. I haven't. No,
I'll have to bring it to you.
Yeah, I'm just not really interested.
It's a nice bookend.
I'll check it.
It comes together nice.
Yeah, like again, like I don't. Do I like? I would say.
Look, it's a good movie. Check it out. Yeah. All right, watch the Thing prequel. It's not bad, everybody.
Yeah, it's just I'm not saying it's.
I should be getting paid by studios for plugging this shit. I'll tell you what.
Everything we're doing here is a plug. But no, all right. So maybe we'll add that to my list. But all right, I think we're going to sign off real quick.
Oh, yeah.
And we're going to get back to it. Are you coming back this week?
I can. We can make it happen, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, last assignment's due tomorrow, so beyond that, I'm a free man.
Okay. Well,
let's say Thursday.
Yeah.
Let's just lock it in.
Let's lock it in Thursday, which is good because we're going to be 4 episodes this week.
Yeah. Well, I'll be drinking on Friday, so Thursday works better.
Nice. Like it. Okay. Sounds good. All right. Signing off. This is Peter with Dream Warriors and
Norm back after a long hiatus. Hope you enjoyed.
Well, now you're gonna have the 1-2 hit.
Hey yo!
Next two episodes. Norm.
Yeah, it's like my Power Ranger app game on my phone that I've been playing, like game. Combo 1, Combo 2.
I like it that you're into that.
Oh man,
I do. I like seeing that.
It's generations.
You're into it.
They got the movie, the Mighty Morphin, the Galaxy. There's all different kind of Rangers to fight as, and they all fuck you up. Yeah. Norm's been at a standpoint of like, fuck you, I'm done with this game for the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, well, it's always that's the best thing about games is when they get frustrated.
Pretty much.
And they just and you'll be like,
I was doing it while you're doing my homework over there. I was like, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you.
Well, yeah, and then it's almost like something doesn't happen, and then you'll be like buttering up your popcorn in the movie, but you're thinking about that, and you're like, oh, maybe I should just try this.
I just need to switch out the Blue Ranger for the Black Ranger, and I'll be unstoppable. I swear.
Yeah, like I think I got it. Yeah, but all right. Well, signing off, and everyone have a pleasant evening, have a pleasant day.
Yeah. Good morning, good evening, good night.